Hey, welcome to This Courageous Generation, a YouTube channel designed to inspire and encourage your walk of faith.
Now, today is Testimony Tuesday, so we like to bring you a testimony because it's a Tuesday. Drum roll, please. Today we have on This Courageous Generation, Erica, and because it's Corona times, Erica couldn't be with us physically, but she could be with us online. So we're going to hear from Erica and we're going to learn a bit about who she is and what she does. So,
hi, Erica.
Over to you, Erica.
Hi, my name's Erica. I'm originally from Essex, but I live in Surrey now in England. I work as a paramedic. A fun fact about me is that I love storms and I love storm chasing, and I went out to America last year to find storms and find tornadoes. Didn't see any tornadoes, but hopefully going to go again next year and give it another go.
Whoa, storm chasing, that is so cool. Where'd you go? Where have you been?
Well, the whole tour was about 10 days. We must have covered about 6 or 7 different states in those 10 days. So Utah, Colorado, down to Oklahoma, Texas, and then up a bit north as well. It was so wonderful just seeing different parts of America and the States, and meeting different people was just amazing too.
That is so cool. I lived actually in Tennessee, and I've seen the beginnings of a few storms, but never actually saw full-on tornado. Go for it, Erica. What is your story with God?
So my testimony is that I grew up in a Christian household, going to church and going to Girls' Brigade, and I've always believed in God and Jesus, like as far back as I can remember. I've never not believed. But I suppose for me, it was just stories that I knew, and I knew God was real, but I didn't realise until a bit later when I was older that it was more of a personal relationship, a one-to-one relationship, rather than God just being in the sky and me being on earth. I remember my first experience of the Holy Spirit was probably when I was about 11. I was at a camp with Girls' Brigade for about a weekend, and there was this Christian band playing, and I just remember being in floods of tears and just completely overwhelmed with feelings. I can't really put my finger on what kind of feeling it was, but I was crying a lot. And I remember this lady coming over to me and saying, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't really know why I'm crying. And she just said, is there anything you want me to pray for? And I was like, oh, you've just got to pray for my life. So she did. I remember her praying. And looking back on it now, I think that was the Holy Spirit really entering my heart and sort of becoming part of me, and I think from that point on, my faith has sort of grown, albeit slowly and steadily, and I've come to realise that it is a relationship between God and me, and that we can have conversations together, and I can listen to him and pray to him and hear from him as well. Then when I was 18, I went to university. And I did go to church, but I suppose I lost my just this sense of really wanting to go to church and wanting to connect with God. It's not that I didn't believe. And I almost stopped going at one point until when I was in my 3rd year, one of the other girls said to me, oh, I've heard that you go to this certain church. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, you can come with me. So I started then making a real effort to go and invite her and sort of get to know her. And that year was just a crazy year for me, because I then decided to get baptised, and I sort of decided what career path I wanted to go down. And that was a particularly challenging year because I was studying one thing, but I knew I needed to go back to uni and study something else. And I didn't feel what I was doing in terms of my sort of career choices was right anymore. So I had to do a lot of stuff that year to get into the next university. And it was so difficult. But I did it and I got there. And then when I finished uni, getting a job as a paramedic was just really difficult and quite stressful, because I had to pass my driving licence and I had to get my strength up quite a lot, and just an incredibly difficult year. But I always had the sense of God saying, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. And even when I felt like, oh, I'm never going to get a job, or I'm never going to get anywhere in this career. It was just, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I think through these difficult trials, my faith has grown, and I've become stronger in myself and more sure of the promises of God, that, he has a plan for me, that he will never leave me. And then as I've left uni and sort of started work and a career, I found my real passions, for the passions that he's put in my heart, and particularly for me, it's about the persecuted church and about people in other countries who are persecuted, killed, put in prison for their faith, just because they believe in Jesus. And this is something that I feel so passionately about, to advocate for, to pray for these people. I've had some wonderful opportunities to meet some of these people as well, and this is just a real spark that it's like the Holy Spirit just sparks up in me every time I get the opportunity to talk about this sort of thing, and that's really God just growing in me and finding him in me and what he's put in me.
That's awesome, Erica. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And if there's anything else you would like to tell our viewers, anything encouraging?
I think it's important to never be ashamed of who you are, never be ashamed of who God created you to be specifically, because everyone's individual and wonderfully made, and God gives different interests to different people. And I found in life that just by being open and honest about my faith, about why I do certain things, why I don't do certain things, and just making it so natural in conversations with people, that people are often willing to listen, and they respect me more for my opinions, because to me, I won't compromise on certain things because of my faith, and that's just me, trying to live out who God created me to be, and just being the best version of myself. So don't be ashamed of who you are, because who you are is unique and wonderful, and especially in God's eyes. And then another bit of advice I would say is just to write things down, keep a log of stuff that happens in your year, good things and bad things, and it's just amazing to be able to look back at problems you've had and just see how God's found a way through them. And the more I reflect and look back on certain things, and especially the difficult times in my life, I've realised time and time again how God has taken me through them, and then how my faith has grown. So when the next trial hits, I can remember what God has done before and just know that he'll get me through the next thing.
Thank you so much, Erica, for sharing
Erica.
your story. It's really inspired me, and I feel much more encouraged now after I've listened to that story. So we like to get these testimonies out on a Tuesday on a regular basis. So please join us again next time for more encouraging and inspiring stories. Bye, guys.
Bye.